The views expressed in this video are that of the content creator, not of their employer. My name's Brownie. I'm in my 30s, mid-career corrections officer. I've seen things most people only read about. Been assaulted, lost my mom at 17, got thrown out at 19. I've worked HVAC, I've started businesses, built a family, but most importantly, I've survived. This channel isn't about pretending life's easy. It's about figuring it out anyway. I'm doing this for me. If it helps you too, stick around. Hey, Brownie here. So, this is the third video in a series entitled Follow Your Lawyer's Instructions. I can't put it any simpler than that. Lawyer tells you to jump. You don't tell him I don't feel like it. You tell him, alright, now hide. Basically what I mean by that is, you found your lawyer. You found one that's going to treat your case like it's his sole priority, whatever, equal time, dedication, and so forth. So, he's going to give you a list of doctors and people he wants you to see. So, what that means is it's going to be probably an ortho, it's going to be a PMR, which is a physical medicine and rehab doctor, which, for example, in my case, it's the injury to the neck and the back. This doctor takes care of, the doctoring practice, if you will, for that. So, he can prescribe medicine for you, he can prescribe PT, etc., and such forth. So, you're going to go see your lawyer's people, right? Which means it's probably going to be 3 days a week for your PT. You're going to see an ortho. You're probably going to see the PMR guy. What you're going to do is you're probably both going to prescribe PT. They're going to talk about efforts done, this, that, and the third. So what you do from there is you go 3 times a week to PT, which is nothing to it if you're staying out of work. Otherwise usually they say 2 to 3 times, and if you're New York State Corrections, you go on your 2 RDOs. Or, if you're a Squad 8 ferry, you'll go, I don't know, after work or something, But you need to establish that baseline that you are actively trying to get better to go back to work. Okay? I don't condone any of these people playing the game where they're going on vacations, and they're rock climbing on their vacations. Yeah, I went on a cruise, but the cruise was paid for. Okay? Cruise was paid for. We didn't do any excursions. It's what it is. Doc said they could. Not worried about it. I had no medical constraints against what I had planned to do on a vacation. It wasn't like I went rock climbing or I didn't go dune bugging or zip lining or any of that. I went, I sat in the sun, I hung out with the wife, I picked up cigar smoking as a hobby, which, if you're into that sort of thing, great. But the point I'm trying to make is prior to all of the vacation, I did 3 days a week PT. Okay? I established that baseline before I did anything nuts. All right? You don't go out of work and then suddenly you're on vacation here, you're on vacation there, you're on airplanes, you're this, you're that, da 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 da. It was several months before, in my case, I went on vacation. Okay? You establish that baseline. So what the state's going to look for when you try to do treatment plans and surgeries and this, that, and the third, they want that baseline. So if you're not showing up to PT, and believe me, they keep a record. If you're not showing up to PT, you're only hurting your case, okay? And it's only going to be that much harder to get medically cleared to come back to work, okay? You're also going to need to see PT, the PT person, physical therapy person, in order to get approved for surgery or get approved, like in my case, treatment for the back. Without that physical therapy, you will not get approval, and it will take months to build up the track record for physical therapy so that they can look and see that it is not working. Okay, the doctor's going to ask you things like, what's your pain scale, 0 to 10? Okay, most of them aren't going to do anything unless it's over a 4. Now, I'm not telling you to lie, answer honestly, of course, and go from there. This isn't really rocket science. This is following the direction of your medical professional. Okay? So you're gonna go. It's gonna take you probably 3 months before any treatment gets approved because there's enough people that fall out of the chair at work now that they've changed a lot of the comp laws. Okay. So you go, you put your time in, you do your reps, whatever, find out if you can exercise at home, or, in my case, I make YouTube videos because really I'm sitting on my duff talking to probably no one. If you are someone watching this video, like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTuber, influencer nonsense or whatever, so I could potentially help more people. But you go, you put the reps in 2 to 3 times a week with the PT guy, whatever the medical professional says, or girl. We're all even here. But put your reps in with the PT person, try to get your treatment approved, so you can kind of, and we'll talk about this in the next video, kind of determine how long you want to stay out, how long your recovery process is, and kind of start to map things out as it goes on. Because you do not want to abuse the system, okay? If your comp is based on a, how do we say this without getting in trouble? If you are placed on comp due to an injury received from an incarcerated individual in New York, you are entitled to 6 months full pay. Okay? That's not to say MA related or any of the other nonsense that comes up with retirement, unless you're honest to God messed up, and I can't even really guide you on like the 3/4 for medical retirement or any of that, because not doing it. I can't speak. I can only speak to what I experienced. I can't speak to anything I haven't experienced. That's the whole purpose of these videos. It's all stuff I've gone through. Oh, I digress. We did the lawyer. Now we're at the lawyer's people. The lawyer's doctor's office. Put in the reps. See the PT guy. See the doctors, the surgeons, the orthopedists, whatever needs to be done. Okay. You need that track record. You need to put in the reps. From there, you kind of start to game plan. We'll talk about this in the next video. I'm pretty sure I said that already. We're going to call the next video, decide length of time you're going to be out. Okay. Sometimes recovery goes great and you want to stretch it. Sometimes, you're looking at this like, hey, how can I game the system? Sometimes you're actually legitimately messed up and you're wondering, Jesus, how long is it going to take? It's going to take a while. But some of that is under your control. And we'll get into that a little more in depth in the next video. All right. Brownie signing off. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Check out the Patreon, link in the description.